Your reality isn't just physical. We live on three planes of existence, one being spiritual, two being mental, and three being physical. So, I used to previously be a provisional psychologist and would often wonder why so many people, friends, family, in society would go to the therapy and always come back and say they achieved nothing. And the reason being is because they were out of alignment on these three planes. So, traditional therapy only treats the mental plane, where you're focusing on thoughts, previous experiences, and traumas, and then trying to restructure those. However, you also live on the most important, which is the spiritual plane. You're a soul that has come to earth to learn duality. You're an individual jewel. You come to learn duality. And then also the physical plane, which is the plane of effect. This is where you experience reality. However, reality is only believed to be 0.035% real. Okay? And a lot of the time, if you're just treating the mental and you're not eating properly, not training, you're not going to be able to feel a certain type of way within your reality. So the different dimensions, you have the 3D, 4D, 5D. So the 3D is the physical plane, the 4D being the mental plane, and the 5D being the spiritual plane. So the third dimension, also known as your physical plane, is focused on matter, time, and effort. So reality here feels dense and cause and effect seems slow. People in 3D see life as purely physical. I'll believe it when I see it. You then have the fourth dimension, which is the mental plane. This is the plane of cause. So for you to do something, you must think it before it appears. So for example, if I wanted to brush my teeth, I think about brushing my teeth before it happens within my reality. And this is the exact same with your life. So the realm of thought, imagination, and belief, here reality is shaped by what you consistently think and feel. As within, so without. As above, so below. So you create by aligning thoughts with emotion. So your thoughts are electric and your emotions are magnetic, and they create your vibration. And through this vibration that is projected out to the universe via your nervous system, and then the universe responds through a state of equilibrium, which is just a fancy word for an even playing field. So it doesn't want to work too hard. So it's just going to respond to you in the exact same manner as what you are giving to yourself. And then you have the fifth dimension, which is the spiritual plane. This is the realm of pure frequency, unity, and consciousness. So creation happens instantly in energy. The more you stabilize here, the faster reality reorganizes around you. I believe it, therefore I see it. So the spiritual plane is often described as the higher, more refined realm of existence, beyond the physical and mental planes. It's the dimension where spiritual energy, consciousness, and universal truths reside. So you're a soul, again, that transcends to earth to learn duality. You're an individual. You come here to learn duality, the good and the bad, the light and the dark, the masculine and feminine. So while the mental plane deals with thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, the spiritual plane is concerned with the soul, the deeper self, and the connection to the universe, the divine, or whatever higher power you may believe in. So the spiritual plane represents a level of reality where everything is interconnected by a universal energy, and this energy is constantly influencing and shaping our experience. So it's where we tap into our true essence, often described as our higher self, the part of us that is connected to the infinite and transcends the limitations of the material world, also known as the illusion. You are seeing only 0.035% of reality, which is nothing. It's nada. So there is much more to what you are able to see. The spiritual plane shapes reality by connecting soul to infinity. So this is not your only life. Your soul is eternal, and you will continue to live outside of this illusion. So the key aspects of the spiritual plane: your higher self. The spiritual plane is where you connect with your higher self, that deeper, wiser part of you that exists beyond your ego and physical self. Who you are and who you think you are two different entities. It is your soul's true nature, free from the constraints of the material world. Universal energy. So the spiritual plane is where the universal life force energy, often referred to as source energy or spirit, flows. It is the force that connects all living things and governs the underlying order of the universe. Many belief systems refer to this as God, source, or the divine. Your soul and purpose. In the spiritual plane, we come into contact with our soul's purpose and mission. It is the place where we access the guidance that shapes our life's direction, helping us align with our deepest truth and purpose. You also have oneness and interconnectedness. So the spiritual plane is a realm where we experience the interconnectedness of all life. We are one consciousness. It is often described as the recognition that everything such as people, nature, and the universe is connected by an underlying energy. So there is no separation in the spiritual plane, and it represents unity, peace, and harmony. This is why propaganda and mainstream media will continuously push the agenda of separation, because they want us divided. However, we are one. We are one pure consciousness. So transformation and healing. So healing on the spiritual plane often involves releasing past traumas, transcending limiting beliefs, and reconnecting to your true essence. So spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, energy work, and mindfulness are great tools. And then you also have vibration and frequency. So just as the mental plane holds energetic frequencies based on thoughts and beliefs, the spiritual plane vibrates at a higher frequency. When you align with the spiritual plane, you experience a higher state of consciousness, peace, love, and unity. Now we move on to the mental plane. So the plane of cause. So the mental plane is one of the various planes of existence in esoteric and spiritual teachings, often associated with the realm of thoughts, ideas, and mental processes. It is essentially the dimension where mental activity happens, including cognitive functions like reasoning, perception, imagination, and consciousness. It is a layer that bridges the physical and spiritual worlds, acting as a space where the mind interacts with both the material and non-material aspects of reality. The mental plane can be seen as the energetic field in which your beliefs, thoughts, and emotions generate patterns that shape your perception and influence your behavior. It is like the control center of how you process information, make decisions, and create your version of reality. So the mental plane is the causal field where mind precedes matter, right? So you think, it appears in your physical reality. The more attention you focus on specific thoughts, those thoughts become beliefs, and beliefs are subconscious truths that you accept as reality. So then your beliefs are going to be perceiving certain experiences, and through those experiences, you will have different emotional outputs to this. So for example, let's say you liked cats and I like dogs, and we saw a dog in front of us right now. Neither of the belief is right or wrong. However, I'm going to have a better experience because I like the dogs, whereas you like cats. Right? Neither of us are right or wrong. However, it is the belief that is interpreting the experience, and then there will be different emotional output to that experience. And depending on that and the emotional state that you are in will depend on the reality that you either desire or manifest in the future. So the key aspects of the mental plane, you have thoughts and beliefs. So the mental plane holds our conscious thoughts and unconscious beliefs. It is where our beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world around us are stored and processed. And if a belief cannot be right or wrong, they are either serving you or controlling you. Just like the previous example I spoke to you about in terms of the dog and the cat. Neither of us are right or wrong. It is just one of us is going to have a more favorable experience within that reality opposed to the other. You then have imagination and creativity. So the mental plane is also home to our imagination. It is where new ideas are born and where we visualize possibilities. So everything in life is basically a delusion, but most people are delusional in a negative self-serving bias. They're thinking of all their past traumas or the negative thoughts they have, self-doubt, fear, shame, and guilt. And then guess what? That shows up in your reality because there is a lower vibration attached to those thoughts and beliefs. Then you also have cognitive patterns. So your mental plane is where recurring thoughts, thought patterns, mental habits, and emotional responses are formed. These patterns can either empower or limit you depending on their nature. And if we're going back to the delusional self of the negative self-serving bias, most people are delusional, again, in negative formats. And if that is not right, nor is it wrong, you're just spending most of your time in a low vibratory state. And then the universe, as it operates in equilibrium, has no other way but to respond to you in that format. If you believe you are that person, the universe is going to respond to you in that exact same manner. So the key aspects, again, of the mental plane, you have energetic influence. So on a quantum level, the mental plane is thought to influence the energetic field around you. Your thoughts are energy and they have power to shift your frequency and reality. So remember, the mental plane is the cause, the physical realm is the effect. Because, again, let's say there was a day where planes didn't exist, right? People were just traveling from one country to another. Let's say you're going from Portugal to Australia and everyone's going by boat. Someone first had to have the thought that I don't want to go by boat anymore. Why don't we go in the air? So it's first a thought. They start thinking about a different avenue. Then they're thinking, okay, if we're going to go through the air, we're going to have to fly, right? So it's first a thought. And then through that thought and repeated thoughts, it then becomes a reality. People start to build upon those thoughts. Okay, what about we get an engine, some wings, whatever else is involved in creating a plane, and then from that, the plane exists. So it's first a thought, and then it appears in your physical reality. And this is the exact same for you. Repeated thoughts turn into beliefs. Beliefs are subconscious truths you accept as reality, and then through that, you experience the world around you. I believe, therefore I am. So you have your subconscious mind. The mental plane includes your subconscious mind, which influences much of your behavior and perception, often without you realizing it. And this is because from the ages of 0 to 8, neuroscience states, I would also give it from the ages of like 0 to 10, 11. Okay, you're predominantly in alpha and theta brainwave states, which are more programmable brainwave states. Okay, they're slower, and you're a sponge just learning off predominantly your parents or your guardians and what is going on around you through those times. And from that, you then experience, or you're going through life with many of those foundations that are now set within your subconscious mind, which they believe controls around 95% of your reality. So, in practical terms, shifting your mental plane involves understanding how your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality and learning to consciously choose the patterns that support your growth and well being. Like anything in life, if you want to change something, you must first have an awareness to it. So, for example, if I was overweight and people are telling me I'm overweight, but I'm not aware to the fact that I'm overweight, I'm then not going to do anything about it, right? So you first have to become aware of an issue and then provide yourself or learn off certain people the proper education to then implement strategies for you to create the reality that you desire. So now we move to the physical plane, the plane of effect. So this is the realm where we experience our senses, the material world around us. And remember, this is the illusion. You're only seeing 0.035% of it. It is the dimension where everything tangible exists, such as our bodies, our environment, and everything that is perceivable through sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. So this is the realm of physical matter, energy, and biological processes. So the physical plane is where our thoughts, beliefs, and energies manifest into the material world, into the illusion. It's not just the physical actions we take, but also how our internal energy and mindset influence the physical aspects of our life. I think, therefore I am. The physical plane is the final expression of everything that exists on the mental and spiritual planes. So this is the realm where we see the outcomes of our mental, emotional, and spiritual states play out in the real world experiences. And if you speak to many people and when things happen to them, oh, why me? Like, why me? But if you had the awareness that this is the effect, you are then able to look at the cause and have a self-reflection of how your internal state, which is influenced by your thoughts, have potentially created the reality that you have attracted. So the key aspects of the physical plane, you have the material reality. So the physical plane encompasses everything that is tangible, such as objects, landscapes, bodies, and physical environments. So it's everything we can touch, see, and interact with on a day-to-day basis. It is where the law of physics, biology, and chemistry operate. You then have your body and health. Our physical bodies are part of the physical plane. This includes everything from our cells to the physical processes that sustain life, like breathing, digestion, and movement. The state of our body can be influenced by both our mental and emotional states, as well as by our spiritual alignment. You then have action and behavior. So the physical plane is where we translate our thoughts and intentions into action. This is where we experience the direct results of our decisions, behaviors, and interactions. It's the realm where we build and shape our reality based on the choices we make. You then also have energetic expression. So even though the physical plane appears to be made of matter, it is also deeply connected to energy. Remember, you're a soul, you're an energetic being before anything else. We're all vibrating. Our physical world is made up of atoms and subatomic particles, which are influenced by energy at a quantum level. So on a practical level, the energy we carry through things like our emotional state or mindset can impact our health, success, and relationships. You then have cause and effect. So the physical plane operates on the principle of cause and effect, meaning our actions have consequences. What we put into the world through physical action, thoughts, and emotions ultimately shapes our physical experience. So what I mean by this as well is that in order for you to achieve anything first, you must be able to address the mental plane, which is your thoughts and emotions, right? Because if you can control your thoughts and be able to centralize them towards your goal or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, you're most likely going to be able to receive or achieve that particular outcome. Okay. So another example, I'll give the example again of me losing weight. A lot of people think, oh, they gained weight because they just kept eating and not training. But no, that's the effect. The cause is the thoughts that are driving the behavior, right? I want to brush my teeth. I think about it. I then do, right? So if I don't train or I don't eat correctly, that is purely a manifestation through my thoughts. It is my thoughts that are not allowing me to take the action or the behavior that is needed for me to attain the goal or reality that I desire. You then have manifestation, which is about bringing the intangible, which is your thoughts, desires, and energy, your mental and spiritual plane, into the tangible physical world. The physical plane is where your mental and emotional energy takes form, whether it's creating a new opportunity, attracting abundance, or healing the body. The physical plane is where these changes are actualized. So the key aspects, time and space. The physical plane operates within the confines of time and space. This is where we experience the linear flow of events like aging, growth, and the passage of time. It is also where we interact with the world, moving through physical space. You have the external environment. The physical plane is not just about your body. It includes everything outside of you as well, such as your environment, your relationships, and the external world. So to shift or heal in the physical plane, you need to address the energy and beliefs that manifest into physical form. Just like if you want to achieve anything, it must first be a thought repeated in order for you to continue the actions and behaviors that align with your goal or the outcome that you perceive. So this means understanding how your internal state on the mental and spiritual planes directly influence your health, environment, and physical outcomes. Now, how do we heal the spiritual, mental, and physical plane? How do we bring them to alignment? So with the spiritual plane, you want to connect with your higher self. So practices like meditation, prayer, or spiritual reflection help you tune into your highest self, gaining insight into your soul's purpose. You have energy work. So engaging in energy healing practices such as Reiki, chakra balancing, or Qigong to clear blockages and align your energy centers. These practices help restore the flow of life force and energy throughout your being. You have forgiveness and release. This is a very important one. Emotions are energy in motion, and if energy cannot be created nor destroyed, nor can your emotions. However, they can be transmuted. So if you allow emotions or you suppress certain emotions in your body, they store and they will leak in other realms or factors within your life. So for example, a lot of people who get drunk sometimes turn really angry or like rageful, whatever it may be. That is because they are suppressing that within themselves. And then when the mask comes off, the persona through the alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be, their internal world purges. So forgiveness and release. You want to forgive yourself and others for past hurts. Letting go of grudges and unresolved emotions frees your spirit and opens the door to higher levels of healing and peace. Because forgiveness and release, again, these are just the beliefs that are driving your behavior, right? And if beliefs cannot be right or wrong, they are either controlling you or they're serving you. And if you are holding on to stored emotion, then your beliefs are essentially controlling you. So spiritual practices, daily spiritual practices like gratitude, affirmations, or mantras, I also would suggest journaling, can elevate your consciousness, fostering a deeper connection to the divine or universal energy. So healing the mental plane, you want to rewire limiting beliefs. So you want to start by identifying and challenging limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. Remember, a belief cannot be good, bad, right, or wrong. They are either controlling or they're serving you. So when you're able to extract the beliefs that are controlling you, you can then practice to let them go, become the observer. Use techniques like cognitive reframing and affirmations to replace negative thoughts with empowering ones. So for example, if I lost my job, which I did, maybe halfway through the year, my university tore up my contract because of the content I was releasing, right? I could have sat there and been really upset. And look, it did hurt for an hour or two, but then I just reframed it. This is serving my higher purpose. I don't belong here anymore. I must work on what my soul's purpose and what it is that I'm meant to do. So yes, I lost a substantial amount of income at that point in time. And yes, I was faced with fear, self-doubt. However, I was able to transmute that belief and that emotion to best serve the reality that I desired. So it's just changing the frame. And again, it doesn't just happen overnight. You can begin to practice this over weeks, months, and years. So mindfulness and meditation, this is one of the most important. So practice mindfulness to observe your thoughts without attachment. Meditation helps quiet the mind, bringing awareness to your inner state and fostering emotional regulation. Awareness is sexy. Attachment is problematic. You can be aware of something, but then once you attach yourself to it, you're going to be subject to the law of polarity. What goes up must come down. You have emotional awareness. So develop emotional intelligence by becoming aware of your emotional responses, right? If something triggers you, yes, feel it, accept it, but become inquisitive about it. Why is it that triggered me, right? You are attached to something. You're attached to something within the illusion. Understand the root causes of your emotions and process them through journaling, therapy, or guided emotional release. And then visualization. Engage in visualization practices where you mentally rehearse the changes you wish to manifest. This technique helps shift the subconscious mind and primes it for transformation. Now, the reason this is important is because through visualization, you are able to rehearse the emotions that essentially you want to attract in. And a lot of the time through visualization, what I tell my clients to practice is going back to your childhood self when you're having fun, felt love, pure joy, happiness, right? And feel those emotions, bring them back to life, bring them back to the present moment, because your brain cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. And if your reality is created through your thoughts, which are then creating an emotional output, creating a vibration, the more you are able to visualize these thoughts and positive or higher vibrations or higher emotions, I should say, the more you are going to feel better, most importantly, and then two, be able to attract in more of what it is that you desire. So thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video. See you guys.